This is Gene Montrastelli, and welcome to the Tapping Q&A podcast recorded live to tape from Williamsburg in Brooklyn. This is episode 255, originally aired January 25th, 2017. Hi, everyone. I hope this finds you well wherever you are and whatever time of day you're getting a chance to listen to this. Thanks for spending some time with me today. In today's podcast, we're going to spend some time tapping to move your way back to focus when you're feeling unfocused. This is some tapping I do all of the time. It helps me to be more productive, to get things done sooner so I can move on to what I really want to be spending my time doing. But before I do that, I have a very special announcement to make. Careful listeners of the show will know that for the last year and a half, the podcast has been sponsored by Pain Relief Miracle, which is an all-natural spray, which I love. I use all the time. And if you go back and you listen to those old episodes, you'll hear me talking about it a lot. And the reason that we've had the sponsor is to cover the cost of the podcast because it's not free. It takes my time. It takes an editor's time to deal with the stuff on the website. There's all of this stuff that goes into making sure that you keep getting this in a way where you can enjoy it. And so the way that I was offsetting the cost of the podcast for the last year and a half was through sponsorship. The problem was it meant every single time I did a podcast, I would have to interrupt the content with a 90-second commercial talking about Pain Relief Miracle. And that kind of detracts from the podcast experience if you're having to deal with ads. So I am trying a little experiment. And if it works out, it means the ads are going to go away forever. You now have an opportunity to support the podcast directly. If you go to tappingqa.com/support, and if you are listening to this in your pod-catching device on your smartphone, there's a link in the show notes. If you happen to be listening to this in the website, right above the player, you'll see that there's a little link that will take you to this place. And what it's going to give you the opportunity to do is to directly support the podcast through, if you want, the tiniest of monthly contributions. What this will do is this will ensure that the podcast continues without all of these interruptions as we go forward. And there are a number of really amazing gifts that are involved if you decide to contribute to the show, including me creating custom tap-along audios just for you on whatever issue that you want, and even an opportunity to work with me one-on-one. So if you go to tappingqa.com/support, you'll get all of the details. And as we move forward, if this is successful, then each time we begin the show, you won't have to worry about me making any sort of commercial announcement, and we will be able to jump right into the content. So today's tapping on moving ourselves to a place of focus comes from a very specific experience that I had this week. On Monday, I was working through my day, and I've been using a piece of software that integrates my to-do list into my email inbox. And I've been using it for a number of weeks, trying it out to great success. I really like it a lot, but it's brand new to the point that it's just beta. I had to apply to be a part of it. And when you're doing something in beta, there's always the chance it might not work. And for about 12 hours, it stopped working, which meant I had no access to my to-do list at all. And I'm very, very specific about my to-do list because by having everything written down, it means I don't have to think about it. Once I write something on my to-do list, it leaves my brain because the to-do list has now become my memory. And I just look at the to-do list and I do what's on the to-do list. So all of a sudden, all of that planning I had done to make sure that Monday was going to be successful went out the window because I couldn't see the to-do list. Now, there were some tasks that I could remember, but I couldn't remember them all. And it really disoriented me, and I became really unfocused, and for about 90 minutes was way unproductive. So after about 90 minutes, this is the tapping I did. I actually just stopped myself, realized I needed to tap, fired up the recording application, and this was the tapping I did to get myself focused, and I hope you find it useful as well. So just tap on the side of the hand, take a nice big deep breath. Take another nice big deep breath. And just move from tapping point to tapping point and repeat after me. I recognize the fact that I am really unfocused. That my mind is going a million directions without landing on anything specific. And because it is floating from thing to thing to thing, I'm just not getting anything done. I almost feel disoriented by it. And I'm frustrated with how unproductive I am at this moment. And this lack of focus is probably trying to keep me safe. It's probably trying to help me recognize that I am not prepared for what is in front of me. That something might go wrong if I don't do what I need to do. And something will go wrong if I do what I need to do. And so it's all out of sorts. And I appreciate that it's trying to keep me safe in this way. But at the exact same time, I know I need to focus. I know I need clarity. And I give myself permission to find that clarity. I give myself permission to take action now. Whatever I am clinging to that is out of focus, I give my system permission to let go. If it needs it again, it will find its way back to it. If it needs it again, it will refocus. But I can let it go right now. Because in this moment, it's not useful. In this moment, the lack of focus is not necessary. I imagine energy flowing through my body, bringing me to sharp attention, helping me to hone in what is in front of me. Because if I do that, my tasks will get done. And I will be able to move on to what I want. I will be able to move on to what is useful. I give myself permission to shake off the lack of focus and to be fully present here. Nice big deep breath. After I did that tapping on Monday, I very, very quickly found my way back to focus. I thought of many of the tasks that had escaped my head. I was able to be productive until the software came back again. So if you are in a situation where you find yourself just a little out of focus and a little out of sorts, reach for tapping like this. You can listen to this audio. If you are listening to this on the website, you will see down below the player that I have the tapping script there. So you can copy and paste that and print that out. If you have the Tapping Q&A app, and this is just inside of the app, which you can download for free at tappingqandapodcast.com. If you click on text across the top of the menu, it will give you the text version of all of the tapping scripts that we have added to the app, so that you have it with you everywhere you go. The app is free. Just go to tappingqandapodcast.com. Please take a moment and consider supporting the podcast so we can keep bringing it to you commercial free. Just go to tappingqandapodcast.com/support. If the community at large supports the podcast, we're going to be able to do a bunch of extra bonus things like transcribing the interviews, transcribing the archive, stuff like that. All the information. tappingqanda.com/support. The Tapping Q&A podcast, this is Gene Montrestelli. I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you real soon. Bye-bye. The Tapping Q&A podcast is copyright Gene Montrestelli, Tapping Q&A 2016. All views expressed by guests are those of the guests and not necessarily of Gene Montrestelli or Tapping Q&A.